Good afternoon. My name is Kate Dewey, and I'm the Associate Vice President Academic at the University of Guelph. And it's my pleasure to be with you this afternoon for your convocation. I would like to begin by acknowledging the traditional territory on which we are gathered today. I would like to acknowledge and thank the diverse Indigenous peoples whose steps have marked this territory for centuries. For very many of us gathered here today to celebrate the achievements of students at the University of Guelph-Humber, it is the custom and practice on occasions such as this to take a few moments for personal reflection and thanks. We are truly fortunate to live in a country where we enjoy freedoms, security, and prosperity that so many others in so much of the world do not have. I therefore ask that we respect the various spiritual and faith traditions represented in this room today with a short period of silence to mark the opening of this convocation ceremony. I officially declare the opening of this convocation. You may be seated. Welcome to your convocation. This is your big day. You've worked hard, you have persevered, and you've made it. Congratulations and well done. Your years here as students, you've learned, worked, lived as one of Canada's most unique and innovative universities. The University of Guelph-Humber partnership brought together two of Canada's top post-secondary institutions, the University of Guelph and Humber College, to offer undergraduate students a way to achieve a double credential in 4 years of study. You've learned about your chosen areas of study, of course, but likely you've also gained knowledge and understanding about other things, about yourselves, each other, and the wider world here on campus and beyond. Along the way, along your journey, many of the things you've learned and experienced have probably been a surprise or unexpected. That unexpected piece creates a challenge for plans. Maybe you took a course that changed the way you look at some things. Perhaps you encountered a course or a professor whose influence even led you to change your degree program and your plans entirely. There are plans, and then there's planning and responding to unexpected moments, moments that just might be opportunities. Having a plan is important, but a plan is static. Planning and responding to opportunity is dynamic. It's what allows you to keep moving and adapting your plan as things change around you. And they will change. The unexpected will happen. We live today in a world of unexpected and unprecedented rapid change, with an ever shorter shelf life of knowledge and as new information continues to accumulate and come at us. Today, how you adapt to your planning and respond to the unexpected, including detours or changes of direction, matters a great deal. It's surprising what you notice when you slow down and face the unexpected. The message today is embrace, study, and savor the unexpected. What I'm really talking about here is discovery that comes from paying close attention to what you hadn't expected. We all understand the need to adjust to the unexpected, but how do we prepare and train for that? That's where we come back to the past few years for each of you here today after your 4 years of study. One of the unsung benefits of education is the ability to broaden your view of things. That broadened view brings with it a greater mental capacity to accommodate to the unexpected, to both the good and the bad. That broadened view that you have developed here these last few years is basically your enhanced toolkit. Beyond academics alone, each of you has been provided with opportunities to broaden your capacity in other ways, socially, emotionally, and physically. As a University of Guelph-Humber grad, you're uniquely positioned for your career. During your studies at Guelph-Humber, you've completed hundreds of hours of practical work experience in the field and with industry experts. You've gained hands-on experience and developed relationships with others in your area of interest. For others of you preparing for post-grad studies, your thesis courses and your research assistant positions have enabled you to further refine your research and your analytic skills. You now have the tools to prepare and respond to change, to help you thrive amid inevitable uncertainty. As you head out into the wider world, maybe it's wilder world too, take time to plan, and then be open to adapting your plan. Thank you, and I wish you all the best of luck. I would now like to take this opportunity to invite Chris Whitaker, President of Humber College, to say a few words.
Thank you very much, Kate. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Convocation, the only place where today you can have more fun than a Raptors celebration party. Am I right? We'll see. Members of the platform party, distinguished guests, faculty and staff, family, friends, and especially our graduates, it's my pleasure to bring greetings from Humber to the UGH graduating class of 2019. I've been part of many convocation ceremonies on both sides of the podium. In fact, I got to see my youngest daughter graduate with a master's degree last week, and I'll be shaking a few hands for the remainder of the week as Humber convocation ceremonies kick into full gear. So I share many of the emotions that we're all feeling today. The pride of achievement, the joy of success, and excitement for the new beginnings and abundant possibilities that await the graduates. Before I acknowledge our graduates, let's take a moment to thank those who helped them along the way. From the dedicated faculty and staff to the families and friends, for that critical moment of support or providing that comforting feeling that someone always has your back, you have played an important role in helping to get us to today. Let's give them a big round of applause, please. And to our graduates, you did it. You've earned the spotlight you're receiving today. In choosing to study at UGH, you made a wise decision to be part of an innovative partnership between two exceptional post-secondary institutions. You are graduating with a dual credential combining the strengths and benefits of both college and university. You've worked hard, persevered through challenges, made new friends, hopefully had some fun, and learned a lot about yourselves along the way. So my message for you today is to be confident and courageous as you step into a future which will present uncertainties and challenges, but many opportunities as well. You have the skills and knowledge to thrive as adaptable and resilient lifelong learners. Your education is one of the most valuable assets you have, so use it wisely to your advantage and for the benefit of others. And as you reflect on what's next, let me leave you with 3 thoughts to take away. First, remember to think critically, to question and to challenge what others may accept at face value. You leave here with a strengthened ability to make sense of the world and make the right choices to engage and make a difference for yourself and others, even when it isn't easy. Second, As a UGH student, you've been part of a highly diverse and inclusive institution. So embrace diversity in all its forms. From race, religion, culture, sexuality, gender identity, age, to economic status and more, it's up to each of us to acknowledge and seek to understand these differences and find ways to build bridges and establish common ground. Third, and I'm almost done, find a way to get involved and give back. This can take many forms and can be as simple as paying forward a kindness that was shown to you, volunteering for a good cause, or getting involved in community development at home or abroad. You have so much to give, and there are endless opportunities to help improve the lives of others. Everyone here is proud of all you've achieved. You are ready for whatever comes next. Good luck and congratulations, class of 2019. Thank you.
Well, what a great day. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is John Walsh, and I'm the Vice Provost at the University of Guelph-Humber. We have a very special award to give. Dr. Dewey. It's my pleasure and honour to present to you Dr. Nikki Martin. The recipient of the John Bell Award. The John Bell Award was established to honour Professor John Bell, who served at the University of Guelph with distinction from 1972 to 1987. It recognises outstanding contributions to university education. This year is the first time that a University of Guelph-Humber faculty member has received this award. Dr. Dewey, perhaps a little background. Dr. Nikki Martin became Programme Head of the Early Childhood Studies Programme at the University of Guelph-Humber in 2015. She has modernised the programme curriculum, consulting and developing courses to meet professional standards and revolutionising the role of early childhood professionals. She has increased the programme's quality and reputation by creating a community of students and faculty, introducing a new transfer pathway from early childhood education programs, developing a fully online program for working professionals, and along with faculty, designing innovative online courses with high-impact practices. Through her efforts, early childhood studies programs intake has more than doubled. Graduates have been accepted into competitive programs and universities throughout the province, including nursing at the University of Toronto, occupational therapy at Queen's University, child life study at McMaster University, and master's programs at the Ontario Institute for Studies in Education. Reflecting her leadership in teaching and learning, Dr. Martin was invited to participate in varied University of Guelph committees, including working groups in experiential learning and high-impact practices. As a leader of high-impact practices at the University of Guelph-Humber, she has reviewed outlines from all programs to identify courses using high-impact practices and experiential learning, and has presented results at international conferences, and currently is completing a paper on high-impact practices. Dr. Nikki Martin's engagement and academic leadership more than meet the criteria for the John Bell Award. Please join me in congratulating Dr. Martin.
Was a special thing to be able to do. Our next speaker is Ms. Kathy Elliott. Ms. Elliott became program head of media studies at the University of Guelph-Humber in 2018, after 5 years as assistant program head. Arriving at the University of Guelph-Humber in 2013, she brought wide experience combining teaching at University of Guelph-Humber, Humber College, and Ryerson University with media practice. Earlier, she won numerous awards as editor-in-chief of Homemakers magazine, executive editor of Canadian Living, and managing editor of Flair. She has written for a wide variety of publications and news outlets, including the Canadian Press, and spent 4 years in public relations practice. As an account team leader at Continental Collins Harris, now Weber Sandvik, she oversaw accounts including Xerox Canada, Levi Strauss & Company, and the Canadian Red Cross. Please welcome Ms. Kathy Elliott.
Thank you all. Congratulations, Nikki. Thank you, Dr. Dewey, and good afternoon to President Vaccarino, Vice Provost John Walsh, honored guests, faculty, staff, and of course, graduates, the class of 2019. It's a huge honor and privilege to speak to you today, and I would like to thank the University of Guelph-Humber for inviting me, and you all for the opportunity to speak. A few years back, a couple of my graduating students, that'd be media studies students, came to me. It was post-emerge, so they were relaxed, and they were making the rounds asking staff and faculty for one piece of advice that they could take out into the world. I don't remember what I said, to be absolutely honest, but I do remember that I cheated and gave them 2 pieces of advice. So I'm going to follow that lead and give you 2 probably different pieces of advice today. And I should say that my basis for this is my own meandering experience, for what it's worth. Media studies students, you spent 4 years learning how to tell stories. I know less about FCSS and ECE, but my impression of those programs is that they also involve telling stories, or at least listening to stories, interpreting them, and retelling them. Convocation is a unique experience in life. It's one of those unique chapters because it is both the end of a story and the beginning of a story. It's interesting to me that many institutions call this ceremony a graduation. In other words, the culmination of years of work. And other institutions call it a commencement, or the beginning. Because what is this if it's not a commencement of something big, and what's bigger than the rest of your life? One of the most common messages at graduations or commencements is, as you know, as Shakespeare has Polonius tell Laertes in Hamlet, "To thine own self be true." In today's language, you do you. Or, as Oscar Wilde put it, be yourself because everybody else is already taken. I'm going to put it a different way, and this is my first piece of advice. Write your own story. In media, at least, you've learned how to write other people's stories, and you've learned the process. Ask questions, ask more questions, and then craft the answers into a shape that has meaning and is compelling and is motivating. That shape includes, of course, a gripping beginning, exciting content, probably some ups and downs, and a satisfying conclusion. I expect all disciplines have a somewhat similar approach to their work. You already have your compelling beginning. The last 4 years are, in many ways, shared by everyone in this room. But in many other ways, they are completely yours. And so is the path that you'll be taking starting right here on this stage when your name is called in a few minutes. As for the content, That's going to depend on the answers that you get to your questions. So to help you write your story, I'm going to ask you 6 questions that only you can answer. And you don't need to answer them today, maybe not next week, but as you go on your life's journey. Number 1, what are you afraid of? You can't overcome any fear until you name it. And once it's named, it's less fearsome. A side point, don't mistake fear for practicality. In other words, be bold. In the words of Steve Jobs, be foolish. Take chances. Because guess what? Most of the things you fear will never happen. And meanwhile, the bad stuff never gives you any warning. So don't even worry about it. And if what you fear is failure, that brings me to point 2. What did you fail at? Every good story contains conflict. How does the hero overcome adversity? How does the experience help them grow? A failure could be something small, like doing a really important interview and forgetting to turn the mic on. It could be something bigger, but recovering from a stumble isn't just picking up and moving on. It's learning from it. You've all heard that saying, failing means that you're not trying hard enough. Oprah Winfrey said it this way, there's no such thing as failure. Failure is just life trying to move you in a different direction. You're going to take lots of different directions. Some of them will be planned, some of them won't be planned, but they will all take you to the place where you were meant to be. 3, what is your unique skill? I expect some of you at least are on the job market and working hard on your resumes, so you'll be thinking of your skills a lot in the next few days if you haven't already. You've likely got skills top of mind, so I'm going to emphasize what is your unique skill? Everyone in this room can do something better than anyone else can. Never devalue that. Steve Jobs, who famously did not ever graduate from college, developed a passion for calligraphy that he pursued just because he loved it. And that passion for type and technology enabled him to found Apple. And I'm not going to tell you that story today because I don't have time. 4, do you have a motto? Anybody have a motto? This is a kind of way of saying, what are your values? But I like the focus of what's my motto. I'm going to guess, based on the fields that all of you are entering, that most of you want to make change in the world, and you will. A motto that you live by helps put your values into practice. It helps you translate your values into action. Shonda Rhimes, who's a TV producer and the writer who created Grey's Anatomy and Scandal, likes to say, don't just dream, do. Dreams are important, but at some point, you need to start doing. Be active. I love that. Just doing is what makes things happen. Nobody can help everybody, but everyone can help someone. 5, what is the luckiest thing that's ever happened to you? And I'm sure we've all heard some version of luck comes to those who work hard, or you make your own luck. I definitely believe in luck. In fact, I believe in the flip side. As journalist Mary Schmidt put it in the Chicago Tribune, your choices are half chance. What does that mean? To me, that means you can plan and plot and schedule and organize all you want, but a great opportunity can come along and derail all those plans for something better. If you're able to recognize that opportunity for what it is, and if you're prepared to grab it, you will be lucky. Luck is where opportunity meets preparation. Bad luck is where lack of preparation meets reality. 6, and finally, What advice would you give? Write it down and keep it close, because that is the second piece of advice that I'm going to give you this afternoon. Follow your own advice. Only you truly know what you've done to overcome your fears, learn from your failures, and nurture your unique passions, and only you can write your own story. Congratulations, class of 2019.
Well, graduates, the moment has arrived. Will the graduating class please rise? Yes, you may. You see, they do love you. Dr. Dewey, I have the honor to present to you these scholars who have fulfilled the statutory requirements laid down by the Senate of the University of Guelph, that they may be admitted to their various and several degrees with all of the rights, privileges, and obligations appertaining thereto.
By virtue of the authority vested in me and in the University of Guelph, I hereby accept you for admissions to your various and several degrees with all of the rights, privileges, and obligations appertaining thereto.
President Whittaker, I have the honor to present to you these scholars who have fulfilled the academic requirements of Humber Institute of Technology and Advanced Learning in their respective programs, that they may be admitted to their various and several diplomas with all of the rights, privileges, and obligations appertaining thereto.
I admit you to your various and several Humber Institute of Technology and Advanced Learning diplomas with all the rights, privileges, and obligations pertaining thereto.
Will the graduating class please be seated?
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is George Bragas. I'm the Assistant Vice Provost here at the University of Guelph-Humber. I have the honor this afternoon to be announcing the names of the graduates. There will be 3 groups of students graduating this afternoon. I would ask that you withhold your applause until the end of each group to ensure that each student's name can be heard clearly. At the end, however, of each group, we will expect some truly thunderous applause from friends and family. Vice President Dewey and President Whittaker, I have the honor to present to you these scholars from the University of Guelph-Humber that they may be admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Applied Sciences, Early Childhood Studies, Honors, and to the Diploma in Early Childhood Education. Talia Acosta, with distinction. Michael Agam, with distinction. Laura Agliani Fata, with distinction. Jennifer Albanese, with distinction. Michelle Alicock, with distinction. Lauren Amoy Genfi, with distinction. Se-Young An, with distinction. Claudia Argento, with distinction. Chantal Carolina Arias. Neha Arora. Amy Azopardi, with distinction. Jasmine Badger, with distinction. Montana Beleza. Elizabeth Barbosa, with distinction. Bridget Bartolome. Louise Bernardo, with distinction. Simran Bangal. Marissa Borg, with distinction. Vanessa Borromeo, with distinction. Ashley Bourne, with distinction. Victoria Batso. Shelley Braderick, with distinction. Baljinder Kaur Brach, with distinction. Jocelyn Brent, with distinction. Samantha Britton. Naomi Brown, with distinction. Andrea Burkett, with distinction. Jessica Cabral, with distinction. Anna Maria Carone, with distinction. Laura Carson, with distinction. Veronica Castillo, with distinction. Melissa Cesario, with distinction. Ho Yi Chung, with distinction. Susan Kootley, with distinction. Allegra Coase, with distinction. Candace Crooks, with distinction. Samantha Cruteau. Sophia Cugliari, with distinction. Cassandra Defina, with distinction. Daniela DeLongis. Sabrina DeMello, with distinction. Adrian Dara, with distinction. Harjot Dhaliwal with distinction. Laura DeSevo with distinction. Emily Diamante. Melissa Christina Dodero with distinction and the Vice Provost Award winner. Renee Drummond. Danielle Elazzi. Jill Elliott with distinction. Chanel Ellis with distinction. Celeste Encila with distinction. Jacqueline Irolas with distinction. Alexandra Evans. Alessandra Maria Federico with distinction. Michelle Guribiar with distinction. Haley Gerardo. Karina Gerswa. Kimberly Hackett with distinction. Judy Hafez. Hebok Hersey. Desiree Hicken with distinction. Nadine Howell with distinction. Yingxi Wang. Stephanie Hughes with distinction. Kiana Israel. Amanpreet Jasal with distinction. Karanjeet Joel. Radha Joshi with distinction. Kathy Kassian with distinction. Gia Kelleher. Christina Kelly with distinction. Susanna Kamei with distinction. Anicia Khan. Rokea Kandakar with distinction. Lauren Kramer, with distinction. Kelly Cusick. Samantha Lewis. Francesca Luongo, with distinction. Mandeep Mall. Katya Marquez. Amanda Martino, with distinction. Nadejda Mazur, with distinction. Keith McAleese, with distinction. Peyton McCauley. Tara McKernan, with distinction. Caitlin McLean. Angela Minicucci. Maricel Miranda Gallo. Shyla Mirza. Nicole Mitchell. Angela Morales. Melinda Morby, with distinction. Kieran Monroe, with distinction. Rumana Murad. Adriana Niemela, with distinction. Gurpreet Oberoi. Adeniki Olabanwo. Brianna Pescarino. Catherine Petchke, with distinction. Caroline Podpora, with distinction. Daniela Pulcinelli. Mirella Radosinovic, with distinction. Mariam Rahimi, with distinction. Harjot Rai. Sarah Ranjbaran. Diana Ratos. Alexandra Romano. Taylor Roncalli. with distinction. Janice Sadler, with distinction. Deanna Sandyland, with distinction. Lena Scaccia, with distinction. Bianca Shembri. Corley Swertman, with distinction. Rashina Seaton. Jessica Cicheron. Tracy Sluter, with distinction. Kathleen Sousa, with distinction. Heather Stacy. Cassandra Stevenson. Zora Taski. Helena Tulsidis, with distinction. Claudia Voiku. Tracy Webster, with distinction. Timonia Williams. Olivia Ipilar, with distinction. Colleen Yu, with distinction. And that was the Early Childhood Studies class of 2019. Vice President Dewey and President Whitaker, I have the honor to present to you these scholars from the University of Guelph-Humber that they may be admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Applied Science, Family and Community Social Services, Honors, and the Social Service Worker Diploma. Stacy Ajay. Kezia Allen, with distinction. Sarah Antelope, with distinction. Constantina Badunas. Brian Barre. Terrell Bengershen, with distinction. Selena Blake, with distinction. Elisheva Blatt, with distinction. Janice Bond, with distinction. Lisa Buderam. Christina Botello, with distinction. Ashley Brown, with distinction. Madison Bursey. Laura Castro. Michelle Charles, with distinction. Nikisha Clark. Sarah Collins, with distinction. Neve Connolly, with distinction and the Vice Provost Award winner. Vanessa Crudo, with distinction. Maria Dessou, with distinction. Olivia Davidson. Alessandra Diacetis, with distinction. Sabrina DeFreitas, with distinction. Christina DeUlis, with distinction. Cassandra Rosa DiLorenzo. Rachel Denise. Megan Dogra. Courtney Dubros, with distinction. Rachel Demontier. Brooke Eden, with distinction. Sarah Effer, with distinction. Olivia Gagliardi. Sierra Galley. Alyssa Galloway. Prabjot Gill, with distinction. Sabrina Gurdhari, with distinction. Aaliyah Granum. Sophia Hatuzidis. Sarah Yunati. Sierra Johnson, with distinction. Sarah Juarez Espinoza. Yalini Kandasamy, with distinction. Vengai Kenyer, with distinction. Dora Karubas, with distinction. Joelle Kim. Lindsay Kromans. Vanessa Kumar. Hanifa Karambukas, with distinction. Rizabel Lacerna. Juliana Lazaro, with distinction. Julie Lee. Ebony McCreath, with distinction. Katie Ann McGlashan. Danielle McIntosh. George McLaughlin. Jessica Medeiros, with distinction. Elisha Morgan. Ramona Narain. Naomi Neckelpan. Chiomi Oriua, with distinction. Danielle Pacos, with distinction. Erica Peterson, with distinction. Nicole Persicilli. Vivian Pham, with distinction. Amy Piercy, with distinction. Jessica Porter, with distinction. Jessica Proctor, with distinction. Sarah Leah Rowe, with distinction. Stephanie Russo. Radhika Sharma, with distinction. Manpreet Sohi, with distinction. Tanya Solis Ayala, with distinction. Barbara Stanley Alliman. Carly Stockdale. Leandra Tarantino. Vinoda Thevasilan. Christina Urso, with distinction. And that was the Family Community Social Services class of 2019. Vice President Dewey and President Whitaker, I have the honor to present to you these scholars from the University of Guelph-Humber that they may be admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Applied Arts, Media Studies Honors, and to the Diploma in Media Communications. Lourdes Albana. Bisma Fatima Ali. Tamia Allen. Abigail Alvarez. Amira Arshad. Ida Askadome. Savina Atwal, with distinction. Catherine Aylesworth, with distinction. Mackenzie Barnes, with distinction. Claire Beasley, with distinction. Julia Berhalter. Sabrina Bolasco, with distinction. Bianca Botos, with distinction. Adam Butso. Felicia Kamek. Calvin Adam Cunisala Campos, with distinction. Rachel Carvalho, with distinction. Maro Cesario. Ashley Chase, with distinction. Monica Cho. Bianca Colilio. Joseph Colella, with distinction. Bianca Costa. Jennifer Crozier. William Curry, with distinction. Danielle Daly, with distinction. Laura Dart, with distinction. Anton De Leon. Michael Del Vecchio, with distinction. Ariel Deutschman. Christina DiBiase, with distinction. Natalie Dixon, with distinction. Victoria Dedumas, with distinction. Kelly Emke. Sarah Ilul. Sam Elzini. Haley Eno. Lorenzo Espinoza. Kay Evans Stocks, with distinction. Brendan Fahey, with distinction. Nicola Federici. Brandon Ferguson, with distinction. Julianne Ferranti, with distinction. Julia Felice, with distinction. Celia Fiorucci. Celia Fosha. Megan Furlot. Caitlin Gallingan, with distinction. Sydney Gang. Nina Antonella Garofalo. Erica Garicani. Jamie Lynn Giove. Kiana Graham with distinction. Sabrina Greco. Shanalee Green. Sarah Grilly. Antonella Gudieri. Amir Hamid. Anissa Hanif. Jameson Hannah with distinction. Kiana Hannah Lyons. Najma Hashi. Chanel Herbert. Alicia Hunter with distinction. Melanie Wang with distinction. Michelle Yachna with distinction. Tiana James. Zara Joseph with distinction. Ani Calcat. Nisa Kurtimer with distinction. Anabia Kermani. Samantha Laverty with distinction. Aska LaPierre with distinction. Alyssa Lapano. Jamie Ling. Nicholas Lombardi. Alicia Larenka. Lucas Lucatus with distinction. Rick Liu. Sarah Liu with distinction. Kevin Mayer with distinction. Michaela Malcolm. Alexia Mancini. Natasha Mashi. Gemma Mastroani. Elise Matthias. John Mendoza with distinction. Clayton Merrick. Tamina Sadaf Mirza with distinction. Crystal Mohan. Megan Montero with distinction. Samuel Moore. Oh, you want the John? Lucas John Morris. Kyra Morrison with distinction. Felicia Murray. Natalie Nacarado. Madeline Norman Crowther. Caitlin O'Brien with distinction. Abigail Oliveira. Sabrina Ostapchuk. Claire Pajot. Shania Palmer. Serena Panetta with distinction. Ryan Pappas. Anna Perlmutter. Brianna Persad. Kyle David Phillips. Elena Polyzois with distinction. Olivia Porporo with distinction. Anisha Premraj. Jenny Quintero. Priya Rajkumar with distinction. Madeline Reel with distinction. Joshua Renouf. John Resurrection. Katia Filipa Ribeiro, with distinction. Isabella Rizzo, with distinction. Leah Robertson. Massimo Roberto. Tarek Rutty. Naba Saeed, with distinction. Rajpreet Kaur Sahota, with distinction. Anna Flavia Seslanu. Matthew Sexsmith, with distinction. Nia Shrestha, with distinction. Felicia Singh, with distinction. Megan Sipos. Michaela Smith, with distinction. Kevin Somerville. Mariah Soriano. Vasiliki Soteropoulos. Ashley Starr, with distinction. Megan Stoddart, with distinction. Ryan Suknandan, with distinction. Richard Sangha, with this. Solomay Tilahan. Yeah, go ahead. Solomay Tilahan. Emily Tessier, with distinction and the Vice Provost Award winner. Tristan Tatey. Shainika Thrukumar, with distinction. Matthew Thurtell. Nikita Tkachenko. Carolyn Triglav, with distinction. Jessica Trinchini. Noella Vector, with distinction. Jamie Margaret Vergara, with distinction. Xavier Egidio Villa, with distinction. Anne Marie Villegas, with distinction. Elisa Viti, with distinction. Lucas Viveros, with distinction. Emma Vulgaris. Sydney Wettloffer, with distinction. Paul Verzbitsky, with distinction. Marina Yamanuchi, with distinction. Chu Sen Yao. Olivia Yap. Ivy Yu. Sarah Noor. And that was the Media Studies class of 2019.
Dr. Dewey, President Whitaker, I ask that you confer the various and several degrees and diplomas on the graduands listed in the programme, but unable to be present at this ceremony.
By virtue of the authority vested in me and in the University of Guelph, I confer the various and several degrees in absentia on the graduands not present today.
By virtue of the authority vested in me, I confer the various and several diplomas in absentia on the graduands not present today.
Following convocation, a light reception will be held for our new alumni and their guests in the foyer. This is an opportunity to congratulate our new members of the alumni family, and we hope that you can all join us. Convocation is dismissed.